Whether you're a mob grinder or you're a life killer, the Royal Workshops has something for both and is a great way to start earning passive money just like those trade crates. Welcome back to the channel all about life scaling. My name is Teddy, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Royal Workshops and which ones I chose to see if I can make a couple billion passively while doing other mob grinding and life scaling activities. If you enjoy the Black Desert content, be sure to like, subscribe, turn on all those notifications, check out the channel for more Black Desert content, and without wasting any more time, let's take a look at the Royal Workshops, how to get them started, and what are going to be some of the best products to go ahead and start producing. When you first get started, you can access the Royal Workshops by hitting the escape, going into the life, and selecting the Royal Workshops. It will cost 5 contribution points to unlock. These workshops are split up into 2 different categories, either production or processing. The green icons will always be the production and the processing will always be the yellow. There are currently only 4 yellow and 4 green. Clicking on the production workshop, this will require a worker to start producing any type of good. These workers can only be lodged at a Yukjo Street. Any other town won't be suffice. Once you do have a worker, you can place it into the workshop, select how many times you wish them to work, and hit start work. They will only gather whatever material is selected. These will rotate every day, or you can choose to refresh it. The refresh will refresh every day at midnight. After that, it will cost 50 pearls to rotate. Hovering over the refresh, you can see there is a set probability for all of the materials. The higher the workshop, the more materials, but I don't think it's worth even trying to rotate it after that one free refresh. This refresh will count for every single workshop, so whichever one you choose, make it count. Another thing with these workshops is a lot of the materials cannot be sold on the central market, like the alloy ingots or the clay. These can only be taken into the processing workshop to be made into an actual trade good to be traded off to a trade manager, though there are some items like the silk, the rough crystals, or any of the powder that can be sold on the central market, but those are used to craft the trade goods, so make sure you don't have any plans with that material before listing it up on the central market. Now, hitting the change workshop option requires you to have other workshops open. In order to do this, they have to be accepted from a quest. These quests can be given from the NPC listed underneath each production or processing workshop. Clicking the arrow will locate the NPC for unlocking additional workshops, but in order to unlock the additional workshops, you must have the morning gratitude tokens. These can be obtained every time your worker gets done either processing or producing another good, so make sure you have your workshops going at all times to start collecting these tokens. Your first production workshop will cost 500 tokens, followed by every other workshop costing 1,000 tokens each. When changing your workshop, there are 2 things to keep in mind. One being the special buff food that you have a chance of starting to gather, or the yellow item that can either be sold on its own or can be made up into a higher grade item. This will take 1 day and 5 hours with a work speed of 150. So if you have faster workers, you should be able to speed it up, maybe up to like 21 hours. I'm not sure. This applies to both the yellow material and the buff foods. Certain factories have certain buff foods like extra AP against monsters, restoring energy recovery, life skill mastery, or life skill experience. Warning, when changing the workshop, it won't automatically switch you to the really good drop, so make sure you consider your change before changing it, or you'll have to wait for the next reset to go and try to cycle through. Opening the storage will obviously open up Yukjo Street's storage, and because the Royal Workshop acquires so many materials, takes those materials and crafts up other ones, not to mention if you do crate trading, this is the furthest area away getting the most money and experience back. You will have to have a lot of storage space, so make sure you don't run out of room so your production or your processing plant stop. Getting more slots can either be rented in Yukjo Street or can be bought from the Pearl Shop, though it is pay to win and I don't recommend it. Now let's take a look at your processing workshop. In here, we'll take all the materials that your production workshop has gathered and start producing trade goods. These trade goods are great with having a high value and the most important thing, the low weight. This low weight limit means we can now start stocking up our trade wagons with a lot more goods opposed to the trade crates. When it comes to selecting a product to make in your processing plant over at the Royal Workshops, this can come down to one of two ways, either solely going by the price that the trade good will sell for, or by going by the amount of materials that you have. Selecting any product will show you how many can be processed and how many materials it will cost. Not to mention, right on the side will show you how many you own in your storage. Remember, you can check your storage by hitting open storage and making sure you have all of the items required. The amount of materials and the required materials will change depending on the object that you are trying to process, so make sure you have the right amount of materials before even trying to process it. And remember, these items can only be sold to a trade manager, or the yellow grade items can only be exchanged to Hyo Singwon over here for a set vendor price depending on the item itself. These items can be in your bag when you teleport, however, you can't use a tagged character to sell the goods. The trade distance and your trade level will apply when selling these goods, so make sure you take these all the way out to Valencia or Grana. Really fast, comment down below if you've been enjoying the Royal Workshops or you've been avoiding it. I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts on the values and just how much money you can make if done correctly. Not to mention, I'm not even sure if this is being done correctly in general. But jumping back into this, when choosing to upgrade your processing plant, these will cost 1,000 tokens each, and that's starting out for every single player for every single processing plant. So ideally, you want to make sure to upgrade your production plants first, and then focus on getting your processing plant so you can have a good stockpile of goods. Before going down my own Royal Workshops, there are a couple goods that will make you a lot of money if you are able to start producing them. Starting off with the military processing, we have the coal dust pouch. This will be the best one for the military, but will require level 3. Next, we have the Palace Kitchen. The best one is going to be the Bongcheong Ware at 301k at base, followed by the Celadon Bottle at 298.2k. At Sanwanjian Hall, we have the White Hongjae Porcelain Bottle. This is going to be one of the best ones that can be selected over here. And finally, at the Historia Libraries, we have the Wammun Sunk. I know I pronounced that wrong, but this will be about 247.2k at base. And lastly, we have all of the yellow grade processed goods that can be made, but these will require any of the yellow grade goods to be gathered over in the production workshops. All of these can be exchanged for 98 mil, but will require a long amount of time just to be able to gather that one yellow grade good and a lot of RNG. So as you can see, it might not be worth leveling up all the processing to level 3 like over here in the military, and depending on the goods that you have available and that you have the good RNG for depends on which goods you can ultimately make. Now let's jump into my Royal Workshops and start helping you guys trying to figure out what you want to use, your workers, and all of that good information. When it comes to the workers, I'm choosing to use the Showfolk. The Showfolk have a higher chance at gathering more materials so that my Dokubi workers over at the production are able to start producing a lot more because they're a lot faster. They require a lot more materials. The only skills that really matter for the workers when out here in the production is going to be with any skill that increases your stats as you level. Everything else is null and void, so either choose Human for the luck for more sacks, Dokubi for the speed, or Showfolk for the quantity. As for the production nodes, this is a little different with Thrifty actually coming in and having some type of effect. For these workshops, I made sure to use Dokubi because they're a lot faster, and when coupled with Thrifty means I'm able to craft up more of my trade goods at less material cost. Though this is highly situational, and I recommend playing around with whatever workers you prefer. This is only what I'm choosing to do. Because those gratitude tokens will take a while to start accruing, it is recommended that you have those workshops going at all times. So this will mean making either the devalued items if you don't have the materials for the higher valued. So don't be alarmed if you're not able to make the best in slot items. Starting over here with the pavilion, I upgraded it to tier 4 just so that I have more of a shot at going for the clay, alloy ingot, mud, charred timber, hanji, rami, wangle, my yellow grade material, the thunderstruck jujube wood, the herbal medicine, and the mystical herbal medicine. Though these do have a lower chance at being cycled too, I will still go for it because these materials are going to be used for my processing. Keeping that in mind, I did choose another tier 4 for the leftward office. In here will give me the same shot at the materials with two major differences: the artisanal bamboo, the assorted teok, and the traditional tea and snacks. Over here at the right word office, I did choose level 3 just because the different materials like the quartz sand and the bamboo, not to mention we do have the deer fur and the buff foods. Lastly, over here at the infirmary, I do plan on fully upgrading it just so that I have a shot at going for more straw seeds, knackery, dew-kissed green plum, the artisanal clay, and more of that herbal medicine. Just remember, when choosing which workshops you want to use, take a look at the materials and then take a look at your processing plant to see which materials you'll need. Choosing the right combinations will mean you have your production plants and your processing plants going at all times, producing and processing. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the military quarter. Over here at the military processing, I haven't upgraded these yet because I'm solely focusing on upgrading my greens, but I did choose the medicinal brewer just because I have an abundance of the materials and I am not yet ready to start making the Hung Wei poetry. Take a look at each and every single upgrade that you can do because ones will have higher valued goods like over here at the coal dust pouch, the green manure fertilizer, and obviously each and every yellow that we can craft up and start trading. At the palace kitchen, same rules apply, and I chose to go with the Celadon bottle. In this first tier, this will and is probably one of the best ones that you can go with hands down in any of these workshops other than the yellows. At the Songwon Jian Hall, I chose the pruned bamboo shoot only because I don't have the materials for any of the gilded liqueur chests anymore. This will change as I get more materials, but for now, the bamboo would do. Lastly, over here at the History of Libraries, I did choose the Yuri Kwangju die. This will be another great valued one while I don't have the materials to make anything else. Once I do, however, I will be changing out and trying to go for more of a higher value. Remember, the more space you have when using the Royal Workshops means the more items you can start processing and the more items you can start producing. So now let's take a look at a couple ideas on how to start transporting all these goods, with the first one being the trade transport wagon. This is going to be one of the go-to methods with being able to just store up the wagon and hit send. This will take a couple hours to send off with a total of at least 7 hours, but you will have way more items on that trade wagon than obviously the original trade crates that we can still send. Another way is to stock everything into your inventory and jump into the well. You're still able to teleport and it will take you some time getting everything transported from one storage to the other, but will save a lot of time and effort in the long run. Your trade level and the distance will matter when trading everything in, so the higher your trading is and the further you go, the more money you can make back. If you have enough contribution, this can be done on the side with your crate trading to equal a lot more money than just say someone that's either doing the crate trading or someone that's only using the Royal Workshops. Taking a look, you can simply throw everything into your bag, teleport, and head to the trade manager. As you can see, here are the rates before any of the bargaining with your distance applied and your trade level. Applying your bargaining, here's just an idea of what you can start looking at, and the more items you have, the more money you can make. Make sure you start unlocking more and start playing around with each of the combinations. Maybe you might get lucky with any of the buff foods, but with how low that percentage is, I doubt it. Please don't waste your pearls on this, I beg of you. With all of that out of the way, I hope this helps you start trying to figure out your own Royal Workshop combinations and seeing what can make you the most money. If anything, this can be a fun way to passively do something in the background or just give you something else to AFK while you're out there playing another game. I will have more Black Desert guides coming out in the future, so keep your eyes peeled. And if you guys are still playing Throne of Liberty, fear not. I'm still playing it. I'm just in a rough place with, the healer situation. But with all of that out of the way, I will see you guys for the next Black Desert Online guide. Keep gathering out there, everyone.